A few days ago, I talked to you about the best way to get the most value out of pulling for Skirk, in terms of power versus cost. But there are still a lot of questions, and the most important one is: if you already have Neuvillette, is it still worth pulling for Skirk? Even though they belong to different elements and both play the role of main DPS, there's one major thing they have in common. They both heavily rely on Furina. And since Furina is currently a one-of-a-kind character, if you use her with Skirk, your Neuvillette team will suffer greatly in terms of damage and performance. That's why many players are conflicted, should they pull for Skirk or not? Because pulling for Skirk might push Neuvillette to the sidelines or even into the archive. So here's my suggestion when it comes to pulling. If you have Escoffier, then yes, you should consider pulling for Skirk. The synergy between Skirk, Escoffier, and Furina creates a team that far outshines what Neuvillette can currently offer. But if you don't have Escoffier, and your Furina is only in her spirit state, and your Neuvillette has reached his first constellation, then there's no problem in skipping Skirk. Because Neuvillette at C1 with Furina can easily handle current Abyss content. Unless, of course, you don't have any strong DPS units at all. But even then, if you've got characters like Wriothesley or Ayaka, you can rely on them to carry you through certain high damage required stages. And it's pretty clear that the Abyss meta in the future will lean more and more in favor of Cryo characters. Especially with the buffs and tweaks from the dev team. Even Wriothesley and Ayaka are expected to perform better, especially in fights against monsters. As for Skirk, she's essentially an upgraded Cryo version of Nilo, with many of Nilo's annoying flaws removed. Power-wise, she's incredible. But her downside is that she still heavily depends on team synergy. This makes her struggle a bit against Hydro and Cryo shields. Overall, pulling for Skirk feels a lot like pulling for Arlecchino during the Fontaine patch. You always have that sense that a stronger character is right around the corner. And while Arlecchino is still powerful, her damage ceiling is nowhere near what Mavuika can reach. Now Skirk, being one of the top-tier DPS units in the closing chapters of Natlan, makes me worried that version 6.2 or 6.3 will introduce a new character that completely outshines her. According to previous leaks, the featured character in the Nod Cry region might be Columbina, who is also likely to be a Cryo unit. So if Columbina turns out to be the main character of the next update, and ends up being a stronger alternative to Skirk, a lot of players will regret pulling now. But, if you love Skirk's design and playstyle, then don't hesitate, pull for her right away. Because those who pull based on personal taste never regret it. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the latest news.